Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for stopping by. Today I just want to talk to you guys about my new piercing. It's new because I haven't really talked about it before on this channel, but it's not new to me. So let me just show you. The piercing I'm talking about is this one right here, which is my rook, and please forgive my skin, you know, it's that time, so it's acting up. But yes, this is my rook piercing. My hands are clean, so don't worry, I'm not touching my piercing with dirty hands. So I got this piercing on April 10th, 2017. It would be hard for me to forget it because that's the same day that my dad died. And when people I love die, getting a piercing is part of my grieving process. And so that's what I went and did. I wasn't able to go to work that day because it was just, I mean, my dad died. I knew he was going to die. He was not well, but it still is a very unbelievable thing. So I digested it for a little bit at home, and then I told my husband I need to drive me to the piercing studio. I need to get a piercing. So I ended up getting this piercing. I also at the same time got my second lobe redone. Those of you who have seen my older videos, you know I used to actually have triples on my lobes. I didn't keep them in for long. It was a very hot summer in New York that year when I got them done, and it just seemed like they were not healing right, and I took them out. So altogether at the piercing place I went to in town here, I think the bill came up to like $90 something for the rook and the two lobe piercings, all the jewelry that goes with them. And I have to only take jewelry that is titanium or a metal that can go into an MRI, because unfortunately for me, I do have a medical condition where I need to get a brain MRI every year. It's just a part of my life. So I didn't want to just get like the cheaper priced jewelry, because they'll make you take it out. I've had to actually show my piercing receipt at the MRI place just so they don't like try to make me take out my piercings. That was especially true for my daith piercing right here. When I went for my MRI, they were like, can you take that out? And I'm like, no, and I don't need to take it out. And I pulled my receipt out of my wallet and I showed them that it was titanium. Titanium does not react in an MRI. And just as a side note for anyone thinking about it, they told me, oh, well, it might burn, it might get really hot, let us know, which I'm glad they said that. That's their job. They were giving me a warning. I didn't feel anything. It did not reflect and mess up the MRI, which thank God, because I thought to myself, if this thing messes up, they're going to make me pay for it, because I work in the medical field and I know that I would be responsible for that MRI if they had to take another one because of that earring. But anyway, as usual, I digress. So as I said, it was $92 because I went for slightly more expensive jewelry that I knew that during the healing time and after, if I kept it in, I wouldn't have to take out. So it's just a simple CBR with, it's like a white tiger eye. I don't even remember, and I have all this glow because I have my ring light here, so pardon me. I don't even remember if it had a color name or anything to it, but it's just like a white tigerish tiger eye thing. So let me see. I've wanted the rook piercing for a very long time, but every person that I know that has it, including some family members and friends, told me that it was extremely painful. So I digress on it for a long time, but after getting the daith last May, I thought, okay, I can do the rook. It's what I want. My ears are very small. You guys can see I have very small ears. I don't have a lot of places I can pierce. So I went ahead for it. So after picking out the jewelry, she sterilized it. I got the lobes on first, and then the girl who was doing the cartilage piercings, she was doing another appointment, so I had to wait a little bit. And so I already paid for it, so I knew I was going to do it because I knew I had to do it. They finally called my name. I went into the room. She asked me where I wanted it. I told her I guess that's where I want it. She marked it and then cleaned it. I can't remember, but I know she did clean it very well. At that shop, they do offer to put just a little bit of anesthetic on it, topical anesthetic. And I'm not gonna lie, I was like, yeah, you can put some on there because I know my rook is very thick. I knew that mess was gonna hurt. So I told her, yeah, you could put a little bit on there. And I had the same experience with the daith where I really didn't feel anything but pressure. So I was like, yeah, go ahead, put some anesthetic on it. So I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you didn't really get the piercing experience. What's the point of doing it if you got the anesthetic? To each their own is all I have to say to you. Anyway, so after she marked it, she had me lay down. Yeah, I must have laid down. I laid down and she said, are you ready? I said yes, and she started to push. So right away I could tell the pain was much more severe than this one, like much more severe, and it wasn't over as quick. So it got to a certain point where I guess the back side of it, she really had to push. She was using the curved needle, obviously, and she really had to push to get it through my rook. I didn't cry or anything, but my God, did it hurt. It really hurt. So my husband was in the room with me, and he said that this rook bled a lot, whereas this one, the daith, which he was also there for, did not bleed. So I just remember feeling like somebody punched me really hard in the ear. Like my ear was just it felt swollen and hot from the get-go. So I do have a picture of my ear right after she did it, so I'll try and overlay that in this video. But yeah, it hurt. It's not my most painful piercing. I have one that hurt more than that, but it is definitely second. I would say if the daith was like a 1.5, I would say the rook was like a 7.5, 8. And the thing with the daith is after she did it, I didn't really feel it. It was pretty much just like, my ear feels a little bit hot, you know, no big deal. With the rook, after we left there, my husband drove me right back home. I was exhausted because I had got the news about my dad very early in the morning, and I just wanted to lay down. So I got my travel pillow, wrapped it in a clean pillowcase. I laid down and went to sleep for a while. But when I woke up, it's like my ear was just throbbing, throbbing, throbbing. So eventually the pain pretty much subsided. I cleaned it exactly how she told me to clean it. Everything was fine. And then my husband and I went back home to New York for my dad's memorial service, because it was going to be a month after he passed away, just due to some other stuff. So when I went home, you know, it's a sad occasion. You haven't seen people in a long time. People were hugging me very energetically, let's just say. And a couple of people, you know, I'm still getting used to the fact that this piercing is here, and I'm used to hugging them like this. I didn't realize, and I would hug them and they would juke into my piercing every time. Just hit it, knock it around. And by the time I came back from New York, which we were there for like 5 days, I had a little piercing bubble come up. Now some people call it keloids. I don't really feel like it was a keloid, because I have some keloid scars on some of my surgeries that I've had. I don't really think it's a keloid. I think it's a piercing bubble. Excuse me. So I had a piercing bubble on the top and bottom of this one. I also have a picture of that ugliness, and I will try and link it or overlay it, whatever, so that you guys can see how ugly this daith was at the time. So when I got it on this one, I really wasn't all that nervous about it. Not to say that it wasn't ugly. It got really big really quick. I think I have some pictures of it. I might not, but if I don't, trust me, it looked exactly like the daith ones. Exactly like it. So at first, you know, I kept cleaning it the way they told me. I did not pierce it with a needle, because I was trying to see if I could get it to go down without doing that. Whereas with this one, they told me right away, pierce it with a clean needle, roll a Q-tip around it to get the stuff inside of it out, and just keep cleaning it with the piercing solution they gave me. So I didn't pierce this one right away. If I had to do it over again, I probably would this time. And oh, my lips are getting a little dry. And so I made a mistake there. I should have just pierced it with the piercing bubble. I mean, pierced it with a needle. Pardon me, guys. Ah, my lips feel so dry all of a sudden with that lipstick. Sorry. Ooh. Sorry guys, I had to take a look at that because it was just bothering me. So anyway, I also started doing the trick that I did with this one, which was to use tea tree oil. Now, a lot of people have talked about using tea tree oil. Kinky Nikki 4, she's the first person I really watched. A couple of years ago, she was talking about one of her piercings. Might have been the rook or the conch, I'm not sure. And she talked about using tea tree oil. So I did it with this one, but when I saw that this one was taking way too long for me personally to go down, I upped my amount of tea tree oil to 2 times a day. So Nikki and some other people that I saw on YouTube, they were saying, you know, do it every 2 days or whatever it was. And I wasn't in the mood for that. I was so frustrated. I was like upset with myself when it came to this one. So I went all for it, and then towards the end, to really get myself across that finish line, I did use rubbing alcohol on it, which I know that too is another no-no that a lot of people be like, are you crazy? You know, you shouldn't do that, but it worked for me. I mean, I'm going to come in close so you guys can see. Alright, here. Hopefully you guys can still see that. So, I have no piercing bubble. I had one right on the top and right on the bottom. Hopefully this is not like driving you guys too crazy, but yeah, I don't have one anymore. So this one, I had a piercing bubble right up top here, and now it's finally fallen off, so it's just a little bit of the scab of it here, and underneath I had just a little, it's almost just like a fistula, like a tube. That was coming out a little bit, but it's healing as well, and I've been doing the same thing. So if anybody wants me to do a more in-depth explanation of that regimen, I mean, please put it down below. I won't do it if no one asks for it, because I know that it is very controversial. It's been a long day. I know it's, you know, not what a piercer would tell you to do, and I'm not a piercer. I'm not a professional. I'm just saying what I did, and it worked for me. Now it's worked twice. I do want to get a conch someday in the future in this ear, but that's not anytime soon. So if I got a conch and it did the same thing, then I would do the same thing again, because it works for me. So anyway guys, I just wanted to show you this piercing, tell you that the pain level was pretty intense, and hopefully this helps somebody that was doing what I did before I got my rook done, searching YouTube to see other people's experiences. I don't know why I didn't have my husband film it. I don't think the place would have cared. I should have had him film it. But either way, now that the top piercing bubble has pretty much fallen away, hopefully you guys can see that. It was a huge bubble right there. You can still kind of see a little bit. Now that it's fallen away, I feel like the piercing itself is really going to heal pretty soon, and probably within a month or so I'll be able to switch out this jewelry. I did not want to get a CBR in this piercing, but the shop I went to would not give me a curved barbell, which is what I wanted. So I mean, I do think that also did not help me when it came to the piercing bubble. You know, if it had been a curved barbell in there, probably people hugging me wouldn't have been as bad, because it would have been laying flush, whereas you have this protruding hoop that is hitting people's clothes and their hair and this and the next thing. So yeah, I just wanted to come on and show you guys that piercing, because I am excited about it. I love this piercing. I'm glad I got it. But yeah, I just wanted to show it to you guys. Hopefully this video wasn't too boring, and please pardon me with the whole like putting lip gloss on. I just felt so dry all of a sudden. I probably need to go drink some water. But anyway guys, I'm gonna go ahead and edit this so I can put it up, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below, and I will put a link to the video where I talk about my new hairdo. Let me fix it so it's not like, why are you telling me to go look at a video about that crazy hair? So yeah, I will leave a link to that down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.